Happy New Year! I'm Allison, and this is Ona the Bearded Dragon. 2024 is the year of the dragon, so I thought I'd share our bearded dragons with you. Look how excited Ona is to be here. I'll show you his tail. And I'll show you more about both of our bearded dragons at the end of the video. For now, we're going to get started with the cross stitch. Welcome everybody. I hope you enjoyed seeing Ona, one of our two bearded dragons. Again, my name is Allison. This is my channel about cross stitch. I've also got some quilting and some fun other crafts and lots of other stuff going on, especially with our animals. I put all that stuff at the end. We're going to jump in with the cross stitch. I do want to take a minute to thank everybody who's been watching. This is Flosstube number 5. If you see me looking down, I have my notes so I don't lose track, and I try to mark things off as I go. But thank you to everyone who's been leaving just the most wonderful comments, and people are sending me messages and emails. I really do appreciate it. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by. I hope you'll watch all the other videos too. If you have a moment, hit the little thumbs up, like, and subscribe. What that does is it helps my video move to people who are looking for the same kind of content. I've been learning a lot about YouTube analytics lately. Let's go ahead and get started. Quilt behind me. There you go. This is the Great Granny Squared. It was a quilt-along hosted by Fat Quarter Shop and Lori Holt. These are Lori Holt B Plaids line. I don't know if you can see the quilting. It's got a big giant Baptist span on it. When I quilted this, I do my own quilting. I sew, I quilt, I do everything. I made the pantograph, like the fan is about that big. It's really big. I learned about sizing my pantographs and slowing down my long arm. And just because your long arm can go at jetpack speed doesn't mean you should. You have to slow it down sometimes. So this was a fun experience. I sewed this one in 2022 and I quilted it in 2023. In the opening, I showed my monthly markings January. I sewed these all last year, and I'll just show it every once in a while. I'll remember to bring it out, and especially in case if anybody's new. They all fit inside. They all have magnets on the back. That's how they attach. And I decided to put the first 4 months of the year on it, and I keep it by the front door so that as the months change, I can just rotate and then they're ready to go. I'm going to move this over here. I have a lot today. I've got FFOs, a new chart to show you, some stuff that's in the shop, and my mom gave me some wonderful framed cross stitch to show you. She stitches some of the same things as me, but a lot of different things, so it's fun to see what she's stitching. It's different than what I stitch. I have, oh, see, this is why I keep notes. I have one correction from last time. I showed the Scandinavian Noel that my mom had stitched, and this is our giveaway that's coming at the end. It was in a pretty silver frame with Christmas lights going around it. I said she got it at Hobby Lobby. She actually got it on Amazon. We're going to start with FFOs. Let's start with some of the things you might have seen on my Instagram if you follow me. I'm Mrs. _ Family Zoo on Instagram. This is Vintage Christmas by Lori Holt. I used the called for or floss, and I'll get a little closer. It's on 14 count peppermint candies by Fabric Flair. The buttons are Lori Holt cute little buttons. I hope you don't hear these airplanes. For some reason there's a lot of airplanes today. This frame I got from Amazon. It was a 3-pack, and for some reason every one of these frames ended up on a Christmas stitch. Just sheer coincidence. I'm hoping I'll be able to add links. If I can this time, I'll link it below so you can get those frames if you like these frames. I do all my own finishing and my own framing. It's budget friendly and I like to just get things done. I have my temperature cross stitch. I'll show you the hot version first. I did both the high and the low temperatures. And if you're new here, I'm in Arizona. This is the high for all of last year. You stitched one little cross per day. And I added 2 more red colors because the chart didn't have enough for our high temperatures. This frame, I'm going to come in a little closer. I ordered a pack of frames from Amazon and I painted it with acrylic paint and then I spray painted it to help protect the paint. One thing about this is this frame had a slick finish and I probably should have used primer or I should have sanded it first, but I just painted it so you can see the brush strokes. And if you're not careful, you will scratch your paint because it already had a finish to it. But I'm going to put these on the wall. I'm not going to touch them. Not a big deal. These are the high temperatures. And I kind of like the low temperature one better. It has really pretty colors. These are the low temperatures. And this pattern, the heart pattern, and the floss pat came from Fat Quarter Shop. I stitched on 14 count, white, Aida. I think I'm talking really fast. I'll try and slow down. There you go. I was thinking about hanging them like this, somewhere on the wall, so the highs on the top and the lows underneath. And then I really should put something on the back that explains it, but when I finish my stitching, I put my charts in sheet protectors and I keep them in the binder, and I already filed it, so the odds of me actually putting something on the back of this are pretty low. My mom is really good about that, and that's good because you'll see that when I show you her charts. This was the first one I FFO'd this year. This is my new design. This is in my Etsy shop. This is Spring Seasons Squared. I really like the way this one came out. If you've looked in my shop before, I have some squared patterns and I brought one over to show because it goes well for Valentine's Day. These are a little bigger. So this year I will be launching, well, I am launching the seasons. We're going to start with spring. I wanted to make sure I got it out in plenty of time so everybody could stitch it. We've got some flowers, ladybugs, birds, and a simple border. I think I went through 5 or 6 borders and I changed the colors quite a few times. I do all my own designing and test stitching. I'm very picky. I want to make sure it looks good. The cloth I used for this one, vintage cloth Lori Holt feed sack. I'll hold that up for you. And it's about 5 inches square. I painted this frame as well. I painted this the same time that I painted these frames. I had a paint day. This frame was wood. Oops, sorry, I knocked my little box. And the wood on this, it did have a finish, but it wasn't as slick, so it really held the paint well. I like the way the paint came out. I hope you'll visit my shop and pick one of these up. I'll show it again at the end, just in case. Let me move this somewhere. I have a lot of stuff. I always worry that I won't have enough to show, and then I start piling it up, and I end up like crammed in here on my little chair with things behind me, and I can't move. Here's one of my squared series patterns. And this is in the shop. This is called Love the Stitch, and I designed it last year. Obviously I put pinks and reds and I released it around Valentine's Day. You don't have to stitch pinks and reds. You can stitch whatever color you have in your stash. Can you come in a little closer? This is a 14 count fabric flare gray. I really should write these on the back, but if you buy the pattern, I always include in my pattern what the fabric is, and then I talk about how to do the finishing. And this was a frame, and I've got 2 colors of the Lori Holt Vintage Trim, or if you prefer Rick Rack, just glue gunned down there, and then I put a little bead on the bow. What's fun about these, the ones I designed in the squared series like this with the 4 squares, is if all you want to stitch is if you want to make a little pillow, you can just stitch like these hearts, or you can even stitch one little heart. I think these will fit in those little tiny embroidery hoops if you've seen those. And I wanted to show my first chart. A fellow floss tuber called the Stitching Owl. She stitched this for a friend of hers, and she made a change, which was really interesting to see. It came out really nice. This is how I designed it. It's Peace, Love, Rescue. We do have an animal sanctuary. And of course, you can do any color you want with these. This is on a 14 count white, and it looks like I've got a variegated thread. I probably should look that up, but again, it's in the chart information. Sorry. But the Stitching Owl did this for a friend of hers, and she put Love Rescue and then the name Millie, which was the rescue dog. So she moved it up and put Millie at the bottom, and she put beads in the corners, and she made an ornament out of it. It came out really cute. So that is Peace, Love, Rescue. And if you're new here, I do have the little Etsy shop that I have. Helps support our rescue animals. I think we're back up over 50 animals. We just took in a bunch of chickens. If you've been watching video 4, I show a little bit about the chickens in the chicken area and our pigs and all that stuff. I'm going to go through my whips, and I have to say I did watch a lot of floss tubers. They do their whip parades. Every floss tube of mine is a whip parade because I just don't have that many projects going. So I don't know if I can show this because I just think I have the chart. Oh, I can show this. I'm working on, I'm doing the quilting too. And I forgot to bring in the quilting. That's okay, I have enough today. It's the Shine Bright Sampler Stitch Along. This comes from the Bonnie and Camille Quilt Bee book. It has a cross stitch and a quilt pattern. This is hosted by Fat Quarter Shop. And what I like about this is a pretty large cross stitch. But it's broken down. I hope that'll focus. There we go. You can see month 1, January. November, December, January. It's broken down into manageable parts. I don't have a whole lot of spare time. I tend to do my stitching at night. And I'm able to keep up. And I've had this book. It's a book, the Quilt Bee book, with the cross stitch chart in it. I've had it, I think, since the book came out, and I had the original. This is the thread pack that Fat Quarter Shop put together, and it has Cosmo thread. I've had it, and I just never got to it. So when they decided to do this again, they're doing it in different colors this time around, but I have the original called for, so I jumped in. Here's where I am so far. This is on 14 count fabric flare, pale gray gingham. I'll come in a little closer. I'm using the called for Cosmo. And that, the flying geese, the little triangles, and the big motif at the end, that was for this month. And just to illustrate a point, I think this took me a week because I would only stitch a little bit every night, and then it's time to go to bed and get up ridiculously early in the morning because we have all the animals, so we start our days very early. The next chart I'm working on is part of a stitch along, and I really hope I can link below. This is for the Lizzie Kate series stitch along, and I'm hosting this with 2 tall stitchers. If you haven't watched them before, go watch them, mother and daughter, and they're each stitching something different. The daughter, Jennifer, is stitching the same series that I'm stitching. I'll hold up the chart first. I'm stitching the Lizzie Kate Green Flip It series. There's 6 in the series. You can get these at 1, 2, 3 stitch. There's no start date, end date, no pressure, stitch as you go. You can see I haven't got very far. I did get started though. This is a 14 count. I kept it in here. Hand dyed Jobelin Ada Premium Fabric Sandcastle by Witchold. It's really neat looking. And when I was looking for my fabric for these charts, I found this and I don't even know where I got it. Yet there it was. So that's how far I am. I started on the Be Kind to Animals. My mom is stitching along too. Let me show you where she is. My mom's retired, so she stitches a lot faster than me. And she started in a different spot. She's done 2 of the charts. Let's see if I can get that in there without the glare too bad. There's the Ride a Bike and Plant a Tree. And she's stitching on 14 count. I think it's, she told me, I think it's French Country Mocha. Let me look so you guys know. I want to make sure I get it right. Vintage Country Mocha, but she's stitching on the back side. So the Vintage Country Mocha has, like, they call it the mottled side, the dyed look, and then the back is not dyed, it's just a nice brown, and that's the side she's stitching on. So my progress on that. Join our stitch along, tag us. I'll put the hashtag on the screen. So Lizzie Kate Series SAL. I'll put that in here. Oh, I want to show you my thread bag. And I'm not really on my A game today, folks. Let's see if I can cover up the top. I'm stitching with my own colors. I'm using Classic Colorworks, and I'll put sticky notes on there and write down the colors I'm using. That way I can keep track. These charts also come with a button. You can still get these at 123 Stitch. They've got all of Lizzie Kate's stuff. I believe they bought the rights to her charts years ago. I'm keeping my threads in this little bag that I made with this fancy zipper. These come from Missouri Star Quilt Company, and it's Lori Holt B Vintage line. I have some of these in my shop. I'll show you near the end. See? My scissors are in there too. These are perfect for small things, for notions, thread, scissors. And I actually thought if you go, like if you travel or go to the gym or something, hair ties, jewelry, things that are small that you don't want to lose. These charts are so small they'll actually fit inside of that. My next whip I have in a project bag that I made, and I had a few of these in my shop, but they were for Halloween, so they're sold out. Let me pull the chart out. There we go. My little chart marker on it. This is Halloween, Hold Tight, Twin Peak Primitives. I will finish this one day. I think I've been showing this since Flosstube 1. It's on 14 count fabric flare, gray small cobweb, and I've made a lot of progress since the last one. I have a full chicken and most of a chicken. I need to just get that part of the chicken there. My goal is to finish it by next Halloween. I don't really stress about when I get stuff done unless it's something I need to do for a deadline. I don't do any of the bingo boards or spinners or stitch this on a certain day. I just have a couple projects going and that's enough. I don't like to have too many things going. I do have my, I'm at the same spot I was last time. See, I didn't even pick this one up. This is the Chicken Club, Lori Holt, but that's okay. I think I'm going to finish the Halloween chickens and then go back to the Chicken Club. I just don't need to work on that many chickens. I did kit something up I haven't started yet. And this is another bag that I made. I'll show you the bags at the end, but they're really cute. And I put a zipper pull on this one. It's a little owl bead. I made a bunch of different size bags. That way if you've got different size projects, you can see what fits. I have, I think, almost every one of these Tiny Modernist mouse charts. This is Mouse's Laundry Day. And I don't think I've stitched a single one, so I need to stitch them. Let me cover up. Can I cover up? I'll use the fabric. I pulled my own threads again. So I did the same thing. I used a sticky note. It's hard not to show the chart. This piece of fabric is going to be my first attempt at 28 count. This is 28 count DMC Monaco tea dyed. If you watched Flosstube 4, you saw I had a big tube of it. My mom gave it to me. I haven't tried it yet. There's a thread on it. It's bugging me. There we go. I measured it and I serged the edges. I have a serger. I bought a great serger on sale, I think last year around Black Friday, and so far, what have I done with it? I serged my cross stitch. Oh, I serged my bags. If you ever buy any of my bags, here, I'll show you really quick so I don't forget later. I serge all the seams on the inside to make them a little bit more stable. I straight stitch everything and then I go back and I put them through the serger. But it can do all of these really neat things, and I've got all the feet for it, and well, sorry, I wiggled that. You know how that goes. If you're crafty, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But that's it. That's why I didn't do a whip parade video. I do not have that many whips. I'm going to show you my mom's cross stitch. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 beautifully framed cross stitch pieces. And well, one of them's in a hoop. We'll start with that one. She puts the cards on the back of them, which really helps. I really should do this. Here's the first one. Isn't that pretty? This is called Miss Teapot. It's an NITKA kit. Barbara Anna design. Stitch count 109 by 121. It's on 18 count oatmeal Aida, the DMC floss that came with the kit. She finished this in November 2022. Finished obviously the round hoop, and she even wrote total hours 92 hours. I'll go in a little closer. I'll show you some of the detail. Beautiful. That's really nice. And then she uses these, they're Lori Holt Be in My Bonnet library cards. And she puts them on the back of her pieces. That way you know what it is. This one's, it looks like it's using a sticky and it's on felt, and it just fell off the felt. Okay. This one she had framed at the Attic Needlework, that's in Mesa, Arizona. I've been there once. It's a drive where I live. I am north, pretty far north of Phoenix, and if you know Arizona, so I'm north, Phoenix, Mesa, it's a haul. So I just went there once. If you're here and you're visiting, go. It's like a museum. It's interesting. But for day-to-day things, it's really far for me. This is Frida. This is Barbara Anna Designs. I asked her to lend me her Barbara Anna because I've never stitched a Barbara Anna, so I thought I'd share hers. She started this, let's see, started it on March 10th, 2022 and finished it on March 25th, 32.25 hours. See, she gets a lot more done. I can't wait till I'm retired and I can do stuff like this. This is on 14 count Lori Holt vintage cloth even weave. It says 3706. DMC as charted. The stitch count is 63 by 103. And I'll go in and show you a little closer, and I'll show you the frame too. Again, she had this framed at the attic. I'll go in a little closer. Very pretty frame. They do a lovely job. She takes a lot of her pieces there. She's a little bit closer than I am. There you go. And if you're unfamiliar with the attic, here, I'll show you the back. It's the, I think it's the, well, it's the needlework shop here in Arizona. There's a needle point shop too somewhere in Scottsdale. I haven't been there though. Okay. It's a Barbara Anna finished parade. The next one, she asked me if I already showed. I don't think I did, but if I did, sorry, but it's pretty. I'm going to show it again. This is Cactus Cat. This is actually Satsuma Street. Look at that. If I stitched it, I'd have to change it to Cactus Chihuahua. Again, this is framed at the attic. Let me grab the paper. Sorry, I'm jiggling. There we go. It's 14 count natural Witchell ladle. Stitch count Ada. Stitch count is 144 by 106. DMC called for 51.5 hours, and she finished this in August of 2022. Excuse my claw hand there on the side. Look at those colors. I have stitched some Satsuma Street pieces. I think I showed them in my first Flosstube. I have one more that goes with this, the Flower Friend series. It's on the bottom of my little card. I haven't started it yet, but it's on the list. Now we're back to Barbara Anna. This one's called Up in the Air, and again, she had this framed at the attic. Look at that. Ooh, pretty. DMC as charted. 310 black, 3 strands on the skirt only. I'm going to go in and get a close-up of that. So she's 3 strands on the skirt. Give it that fuller coverage look. That looks good. Here we go. Finished this one in August 2022. 34 hours for this one. And again, this one's framed at the attic. Let's see. They do a really nice job. I'll show you the frame. Here we go. I've got a bunny outside my window again. I'm in front of a big, like kind of a bay window to help with the natural light. I have a ring light, but I have yet to use it because I find if I sit in front of the windows, I get really good light. I've got 2 more frame pieces to show you. And I'm being really careful. I've got these all laying by themselves, and there's some bubble wrap between these 2. These go together. This is called Resting Stitch Face. This is a hands-on design piece. She framed this one herself, it looks like. DMC as charted. Oh, a little bit of glare. What I have to do is sort of tilt it back, and that gets rid of the glare. You can see the window, see the big tree out there? I don't think you can see the bunny. I can see the bunny. I'll tilt it back. Witchell Herman Ada? Oh, a 14 count touch of blue. There you go. It's 4.5 inches square, 2/2. DMC is charted. 20 hours to finish that one. So that's Resting Stitch Face. And let me take a minute here. I just want to get the bubble wrap on that. There we go. Always take really good care. If I'm ever handling somebody else's things, I'm more careful with them than I am with my things because, you know, they're not mine. I want to take good care of them. When people are nice enough to loan you something or lend you something, you want to make sure you take care of it. This one is called, sorry, it's got a piece of fuzz on it. This is Resting Beach Face. So this goes, they go kind of together. Hands-on design. Again, I'll tilt it so you don't get the glare. Let me pull the card out. 14 count touch of blue. DMC is charted. It's 4.5 inches square, just like the other one. And that's the Resting Beach Face. Aren't these cute? Sorry about the glare. That's why I don't put glass or plastic on mine. Some of mine have it, but I try not to do that because then if I put them up here, you get glare. I've got some shop stuff to show you, and then I also thought I would show a little crochet. Let's start with the crochet stuff, just for fun. When this started as the sew along, I also started the crochet along making granny squares. I'm trying to find my first granny square. Here it is, it's this one. I watched a bunch of videos and picked up some yarn. Focus. It doesn't want to focus. There it goes. This is the Lori hole. They call it chunky thread. That's my first granny square. Just there's a bunch of videos on how to stitch them. Everybody crochets them a little bit differently. One thing I noticed is kind of like floss, the white yarn, it feels thinner than the colored yarn. I made, let's see, 14 so far. Let's see if this works. Ta-da! I don't have to show them all to you. We'll just slap up a few. They all have the white outer, it's kind of fun. The white outer border. I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. Did you ever go to, I remember doing this on a field trip. It was the Phoenix Art Museum when we were little, and they had felt walls, and you got to put little felt animals and people, and you could stick them on the wall and make something out of it. So they're all, you can see they're all different, but they all have that white border. What's funny is I was on number 14. Oh, there it is. I didn't make a glaring mistake in any of these until number 14. Can you see it? It's right there. Somehow I forgot to make 3 rows in here. I only made 1. Really weird. I don't know what was going on that day. I only have 14 because I stitch these if I'm sitting on the couch after dinner, if I have a little bit of extra time. Considering that I started these in 2022, that gives you an indication of how much extra time I have. Not much. I'm going to show some shop stuff, and then we have our giveaway winner from last time, so stay tuned for that. And I will do a giveaway for this one, so stay tuned for that at the end. And at the very end of the video, I'll add on some more about our bearded dragons. New items in the shop. And if you're new here, I have a little Etsy shop. I'm hoping I'll be able to link it below. If not, just search AZ Family Zoo on Etsy. That's my shop. I started it in 2019. The funds help benefit our rescue animals. We're a forever home animal sanctuary. We have all kinds of animals. But this is in the shop. This is a PDF download, so it is the Spring Seasons Square. Sorry, I think I've said so a few times today. I really try not to do that. I am a little bit off my game today. There's buttons on the sleeve and I've got my hair on it. Bags. Let's see, I've got bags. Oh, I'll show you one more time before I show you the different sizes and colors of bags. I did show this last time, but just a reminder. We have our calendars. Our calendars do show our rescue animals, and it's got all of our information on there for contact. We are not a nonprofit. It is on the list to do when one of us retires. It takes quite a bit to manage a nonprofit. We aren't there yet. We just, my husband and I both work, so we don't have time to manage a nonprofit right now. See, I said so. I need to watch that. Just for an example, here is January. I share our animals. The holidays are on the calendar. And then there's some pet holidays every month. I print these myself. I have a binding machine. It's so much easier than, well, it's not easier, but it's a lot less expensive than having them printed. I used to have them printed by a company and it got way too expensive. I'm going to show you my new bags. I showed you mine, the Notions bag. They all have a little owl charm this time. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 of these left. And I did show you the, serge seamed. They're lined on the inside with this fun fabric. This is a fabric by Bev McCullough, Flamingo Toes, Riley Blake Designs. They're little spools, but they also really look like little floss drops. I love using that for lining. I like to have a light lining so you can find everything inside your bag. It's a tag. I make my own tags. It's a loop. That way if you've got a thread keep, you can hook it in there. And they're fabric, but they're laminated. They're pretty sturdy. I've got a beige zip. These all have the fancy zippers on them. This one is red. And there's your little owl. If you've been to my shop, or if you've known about my shop since I started in 2019, you know I also make jewelry. So I do all of these. This is a a jewelry post, and then I use the round pliers and I bend them and I make the ring and attach them. When you pull it, you want to pull on the zipper. This one is pink with a pink owl. I've got green with a green owl. These are all quilted too, so there's fabric, lining, batting. Sorry, that's the back fabric. I did the same back fabric on all of these Notion bags, I believe. Yes, the Notion bags are all the same on the back. This is Lori Holt's B vintage line. Oops, owl butt. There's your owl. It's a nice bright blue. And okay, those were all the Notion size bags. I have 2 bags this size. This is 2, 4, 6, about 8 by 2, 4, 6, 8, about 8 by 10. These are a little different, so they're a little bit bigger. I don't know what is with me with the sews today. I apologize. There's your owl. They have the fancy zipper. On the back, I used fabric strips. Again, everything's quilted. That one. And I have a yellow zip version. I've sold a few. If you want one, grab one. Again, even if you don't cross stitch, although I'm not sure why you'd be watching if you don't cross stitch. If you're a multi-crafter, you can put other things in here. Yarn, crochet needles, knitting needles. I have one this size, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8. It's about 10 by 10. It's a nice decorative zipper. These zippers have to be sewn down on the front, so you will see the zigzag stitch that holds the zipper. Then I have 1, 2, 3 larger bags. The measurements for these are on the shop. These do have the same solid backs. This one has purple. There's your owl. It's a black zipper on this one. Little owl. And purple owl, gray zipper, purple owl. Again, the funds for the shop help support our animal sanctuary. The whole reason I started the shop back in 2019 was at that time I only had the animal Instagram. People wanted to donate. We really didn't want to take money from people, not being a nonprofit. I was making jewelry and people said you should sell your jewelry. So my shop started with jewelry. I did get a request to show my scissor fobs again. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I have 6 left in the shop. These are fun. I made them with mood beads. If any of you remember mood beads, you get a little chart along with your scissor fob. Although if you're cross stitching, you know you're in a good mood. I'm going to bring this board up again. It's covered with thread. I'll use the back side. How's that? This is scissors with a bee charm and some hand-painted porcelain flower beads. Let's try this, see how this goes. Oh, this is like, that's not going to work. This is an 18-inch design board. It's way too big. I have a little piece of, this is my jewelry mat that I use to make sure my beads don't roll off my desk. I'll use that. It's got the big clip. You see the little bee bead? There he is. And the pretty painted flower bead. This is the mood bead in the middle. They do change colors. It's a little cold in here today. That's why it looks like it's black. These will clip really well on those tags that are inside the bag. So nice oversized, I did it again, clasp. I don't know what my problem is today. This one has blue crystal beads and stork scissors at the bottom. There's full descriptions of everything on the listing on the in the Etsy shop. So, there's the stork bead and the mood bead, the crystal beads. They're made with jewelry wire. I loop it through, I clamp both ends. I also use a jewelry glue because I don't want anything to fall apart. Those are each the last ones left of that kind. These last two, I've got 2 left of each one. This one has a button at the bottom. Porcelain painted flower beads, the mood beads and crystals, and a blue gemstone bead of some kind. It'll be on the description in the Etsy shop. There's 2 of those left. And I've got 1 more, or 2 more of these. These have, it says silk cord charm on the bottom. Really pretty, colorful beads, and a little flower bead up here at the top. I wish I had one of these on my scissors. The other night I was in my little stitchy chair, which is in the corner, and I dropped my scissors, and of course, you know, they landed point down in the wood floor. As long as they don't land on my toes, I'm good. I have a new item. I hope everybody likes these. There's only 5 of them in the shop. If you like them, grab them. I made some floss drops and bling. This is a picture of the Love to Stitch chart, which is now buried somewhere. I showed it earlier. Fire cut crystals. The one in the middle on these, the purple one, is amethyst, a little heart charm. These are made with cardstock and decorative paper. I make all of these myself. I essentially made a 3-layered card. They're very thick. You can write on them, you can erase on them. It's got the 1 hole in the middle. Hello. It's a 3/4 inch hole. There is room on either side. If you're somebody who likes to have that extra hole, you can always put another hole punch. I feel like this hole is big enough, it doesn't need that. But all of these are made by me, by hand. Let me show that one more time. These cabochons, they come in 2 pieces. There's the glass dome and the frame. You can see the reflection of the camera. I think I went through 7 before I got them right. Trying to make sure that you use the right glue, the right amount of glue. You push it down enough to get out all the little air bubbles. If you don't, you'll get, it looks like a gray spot because it's an air bubble. They took some time. I hope everybody likes those. There's 5 of those in there, and they come just like this. The ring, all the bling, and the drops. If you like them, grab them, and anybody who stops by, looks at the shop, even if you don't buy anything, if you follow the shop or favorite items, that helps. It has something to do with the ranking in Etsy. So if you don't want to buy anything, but you like being on Etsy and favoriting things, I'm all for it. Thank you. And for everybody that's ever bought anything, or maybe you're watching this video, you're going to go buy something, thank you. It really helps. One of the things we showed, or I showed in the last video, was the big chicken area we put in, and it got really cold since that video. We just installed some heaters for the chickens and the pigs, and we got a couple of new larger structured wood houses so we can hang a heat lamp. It's got a peaked roof. We got one for the pig and one for the chickens. All right, let's see. That's another word I shouldn't use. All right, shop stuff. We did shop stuff. I showed you the fobs. I wanted to say a quick thank you to a handful of floss tubers. They either mentioned my Flosstube, showed a product, showed a chart, showed something. I'm going to go ahead and rattle them off. I already mentioned the Stitching Owl in the beginning. Thank you. The Nightly Stitcher. Give her a watch. She's got a really cute dog. She also shows a lot of antique and yarn, I believe knitting. I hope it's knitting. I hope I remember correctly. She did a video too where she showed her craft room. I said sorry. She showed her craft room and some of her antique sewing machines. That was a lot of fun. Stitching with My Little Lee. They are in England, I believe, mother-daughter. They stitch a lot of my charts. Thank you, ladies. They're also on Instagram. If you watch their Flosstube, they'll give their Instagram addresses. They each have their own Instagram account. And Sarah's Stitchery, she showed actually the Love to Stitch in her Whip Parade video. Thank you for that. There it is. I unburied it again. That's the Love to Stitch. And I am on Instagram. I've mentioned that before. I get a lot of follows from private accounts. If you want me to follow you back and you have a private account, let me know, especially if you're doing that stitch along and you want to share your progress and you're using the hashtag. I don't follow a private account unless I know you or unless you ask me to follow your account, because I figure you have a private account for a reason. You only want it for a small amount of people or maybe family and friends. But thank you to all the private account followers. I appreciate it. Let's go on to, I had to tilt my page sideways. Rather than use the back of the piece of paper, I crammed it all in like tiny print at the bottom. The winner for the Scandinavian Noel, donated by my mom. Thanks, Mom. I used a random generator. There were only 6 people who entered, so your chances were pretty good. And I'll put the name on the bottom of the screen in case I say it wrong. The winner for this is Diane Beeman 3084. If you could go ahead and email me at azfamilyzoo@gmail.com. You have to tell me you're over 18 and provide me with a mailing address. This is a physical copy. That way I can go ahead and get that mailed to you. Yay! For this video, I wanted to do a giveaway that could be open to everyone. I will give away one of my spring squared charts. Or if you happen to have seen the chart, I did release it on my Instagram and you already purchased it, which at the time I'm filming, I don't think anybody's bought a chart yet. A little bit depressing, but that's okay. Or if that is not your cup of tea and maybe you'd rather have the Love to Stitch or something else, that's fine. I'll let you pick anything else. But if you're interested in entering, I'm going to have you comment below. Don't say giveaway, don't say win, don't say free, all that stuff. Please be a subscriber. Please like the video and comment the word spring. And that's how I'll be able to pick the winner. Yay! That's my word of the video today. Yay! We did our Noel winner. We did our giveaway. The last thing is the bearded dragon video. I'll tack that on the end. Before I do that, I want to thank you so much for watching. I seem to be a bit off my game today. We've had a lot going on, especially over the holidays. I think a lot of people do that, and sometimes you get time off and you plan to do certain things and it just all goes and nothing ever goes out as planned. Catching up on a lot of things, not only just crafty but around the house. Thank you so much for watching. If you stuck to the end, I really do appreciate it. I'll be back in February. There goes that bunny again. It's really cute. He's got a little white tail. They're called desert cottontail rabbits. You can Google that and look at the pictures. Thanks again for watching. Stay tuned if you want to learn a little bit more about bearded dragons. Don't forget to stop by the Etsy shop. Spring Squared Seasons. Spring Season Squared. There'll be 3 more this year because there's 4 seasons. Stay tuned. Thanks again. Bye. Here's Ona. And here is Luna. This is where the bearded dragons hang out. They've got a nice big window, a nice view. We have to have things that block their tanks from each other, because if they see each other, they get irritated. They start to do their, I'm a man and this is my space thing. You can kind of see they're really good size tanks. They like to sort of sit and relax. We use these when we feed them. They eat worms, roaches, blueberries, greens, and from time to time put a little water in there, but mostly you have to hand give them their water and hold them under the sink or give them a little bath. They like to drink when it's dripping. They love their hammocks, love to look out the window. I think Luna's giving me the stink eye. Have a good day, Luna. See you later. Thank you everyone so much for watching. I hope you come back for Flosstube number 6. We'll see you later.